Hey everybody,
How we doing?
welcome to Burning Hammer Wrestling.
We're here.
These are our names
We're here.
down here.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can go to w.gg, use our promo code, get your energy, and support the show.
Oh, yeah.
So we just talked for like a long time about politics for whatever reason, and now I want to talk about so WWE 2K25 has they've put out a bunch of shit on it.
Oh yeah.
Backstage areas which look really cool. But the soundtrack has Architects and it has Gojira on it, which is really
learning.
cool.
Well, there's a lot of metalheads in WWE now.
Yeah,
like Seth Rollins, Rhea Ripley.
There's a lot of metal music theme songs.
Yep.
If you think about it,
Absolutely.
I know not a lot of people like Def Rebel.
Yeah, they get a bad rep.
Yeah,
and,
I've heard that like a lot
fine.
of the performers are like not liking their theme songs, which I don't know how true that is. It's just a dirt sheet report.
I've heard that as well. That.
And then I also saw Jey Uso's entrance. You would love this. Did you see it? It showed like a preview of Jey Uso's entrance in 2K25
in the game, right?
And he comes in through the crowd, obviously. But the crowd, instead of doing the arms, they do a full body like bow. Like they at the waist they bend over. It's hilarious. It's so funny because like it's almost like they were like they didn't want to make these hinge.
And so they hinged them at the waist,
because then maybe it'll look like the hands are just going, but it looks hilarious. It looks like they're all just like bowing to him. It's fucking so funny.
That's so funny.
It looks so goofy.
It reminds me of the
I'm buying it.
I'm definitely buying it. And it has GM mode and shit, thankfully. They're not taking away features. They're just making it bigger and better, which is what they have to do.
Yeah. I think it's funny they're doing like kind of like what NBA does, where there's like a open world sort of like hub sort of thing.
Have you ever played, what is the game called? Wrestling Empire or something like that?
Yeah.
It's like,
Wrestling Empire is sick.
Dude,
actually.
It's so sick, yeah. The actual wrestling's kind of wonky. It's whatever. It's not bad.
But the game is like,
game
overall,
is so
it's a really good
funny,
game.
dude. It's so funny.
Yeah.
And it has like open world stuff where it's like your match is at 8, so here's a clock. Now you got to run around town and shit. Go to the gym and go to a signing. That shit's cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. Mm-hmm. I love that. Like,
of course.
It's actually a cheap game too. You can get it on Steam for like $5 or something.
Wrestling Empire is legit,
maybe
like $5
$10 or whatever.
The guy who made it has made a bunch of other ones too.
Yeah,
but that's the one that I played was Wrestling Empire. And I still play it. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, it is. It gets good reviews.
Yep. Oh yeah. But again with 2K25, I love that like ever since up down down has kind of been embraced by WWE.
Yeah.
That he's been allowed to kind of have an impact on the game division a bit with 2K.
He was able to give like first looks and all that stuff too, which
that's
cool.
why GM mode came back, which I mean that was my favorite thing, man. GM mode is really cool. And the current version of it is really good.
Deep. Yeah.
It's so good. It's just cool. Like, yeah, I like playing wrestling games. I've been playing them since I was a little kid. We grew up in the age of fucking revenge and shit. So of course we like wrestling games, you know?
Yeah, what's the one? WWF Attitude I played a lot.
For PS1?
Yeah.
No, it was on N64 as well, but...
I think I played it on PlayStation.
Played a ton. I went back to that recently. It was like, it doesn't really hold up as well as
it does. It's terrible. The game itself is terrible.
The game itself is terrible, but it was what there was. And it was the WWF game, so we just put 1,000 hours into it.
I like watched a YouTube video of it, and I was like, holy shit, these
nostalgia
the menu. Just like going through the menu and navigating the menus.
Create a character, dude. In all those games, the create a character got done more than the gameplay to me, probably.
And the create a character is terrible.
Yeah, it's absolutely terrible.
Every single mask looks awful.
Absolutely. Every body part, the texture looks terrible.
Oh my God. I love it. And they're like this.
Yep. Yeah. Knife hands.
And it's so good. It's so good.
It is, though. Do you remember WCW Nitro and Thunder for PS1?
Thunder was the one. I had Thunder. And it had like live action entrances. It was just like a cutscene.
It was weird. And when you would select a guy, you could watch a live action video of them selling you to pick them. Yeah, that shit's funny.
That is
dude.
awesome. They should still have that.
They should have that. They should do that.
Yeah, they should.
It's the only game I've ever played, wrestling game, that had that.
I could see some good ones for that, dude.
Yeah, and what the reason I was thinking of old wrestling games too is because you were talking about the waist wave for whatever. It reminds me of Raw for Xbox, where everybody had super awkward body motions and they all ran with their knees bent for no reason.
Yeah,
dude.
Raw was, oh my god,
but it was good.
It looked really good.
It looked good
at the time,
and it was the first one I ever saw that let you build like an entire arena and design entrances and stuff.
I remember seeing my friend. My friend was playing it on the original Xbox, and I saw it, and I was like, "Holy fuck, that looks so good!" Like it looked incredible. It looked like in my head, like when I had seen that, it was like anything that was. It's better than what we have now.
It smoked everything.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it smoked absolutely everything. Presentation wise, it smoked everything.
It's still
for the time it was so revolutionary.
In my head looks better than shit we have now, which it obviously doesn't. Yeah.
But at the time, it was so,
It was because I was just
really
like, holy fuck.
Game.
The Xbox just like, that sold me on Xbox, I think. Because
Halo
I was like, holy shit, this console, like, shit looks great on this. And then I got Halo.
Xbox was like an in-between. It was like better than all the other gen, whatever gen it was. That generation of consoles.
So it had like a little more power, and graphically it was a little better.
It was revolutionary, man. Xbox was a big deal when it came out. But that's a conversation for a different podcast that we also do.
It was just hilarious. Like that. I don't know. It was just something. I just thought it was hilarious that they were doing this. The crowd, how can you just not make the arms?
How do you not just make their shoulders move?
Just make the shoulders move.
Yeah.
You're putting in the effort.
You're better off not making the waist move.
Don't even make anything
making the arms move.
Yeah.
Like,
why are you putting in the effort to
It's funny.
Move the waist?
But it is a trailer, so they'll probably get, I'm guessing, they're going to get a lot of comments of people going, the waist for Jey
That seems
Uso,
like
though.
something they can patch.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I'm guessing that'll get fixed, but whatever.
Anyway, that's 2K25. I'm definitely picking it up. I think I pre-ordered it already.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely getting it. I've gotten
which is dumb that you have to pre-order it to get the Wyatt pack. That's so stupid.
But at the same time, a lot of times with those pre-order packs, when the game comes out, they end up you can just still get them as DLC anyways. Yeah. So whatever.
Yeah, but it's fucking like they're just throwing it in there to. Yeah. And then there's all these editions now of everything. A Dead Man edition, and then there's like a Cena one, I think,
2K
or Bloodline edition.
It's still 2K. They're still doing that shit. I'm just glad they don't have like 2K coins or whatever, like in NBA 2K. Mm-hmm. That's nice that they don't.
It is irritating when you open the 2K24 when you open it and you play it. You don't have everything unlocked. You don't have all the characters. So now you have to play a bunch of random games.
You have to do shit
just to unlock like Triple H or whatever.
That's how it used to be, though. You'd have to unlock characters. Like No Mercy had a ton of secret characters.
Yeah, but it just makes the roster from the start feel really small. Yeah, and it's a lot of guys you don't even want to use.
You know, one of the it's on topic, but I'll be quick. Something I've seen game developers or publishers or whatever do recently that is a way I don't mind using real money mechanics, actually, which is rare. I generally hate real money mechanics. They're just too predatory on kids and shit. But that's a different conversation. But the Resident Evil games, since they've been releasing, right, they'll be out for, I don't know, a certain amount of time, right? And then they'll have for like $5 to $10. So it's not wicked crazy.
Yeah.
They'll have a key that you can buy. That's just like a DLC pass that just unlocks everything. So it's like, okay, so did you you played it normal and stuff? Okay, it's been out for like 6 months. Okay, here's a key that unlocks all the infinite rocket launchers and shit like that. They should do that with 2K25, where it's like after a certain amount of time, I get it. When it's first out, fine. But after a certain amount of time, put out for $10 a unlock all characters thing.
Wrestling, the thing with WWE games is if you want to, like, they can really keep it up to date.
Sure.
But you'd have to change entrances because it's so malleable. Like wrestling is, from week to week, you don't know if they're gonna have a new entrance song.
Cody can change everything and the game's out, and now what do? Patch it to add in new Cody? I guess they would, because
when they do, though, they're gonna want to charge you for it.
That's right. Yeah,
that's the thing.
Yep.
but you can buy like passes and stuff. But
Speaking of wrestling and DLC, though, one of the funniest recent things that I saw was in Call of Duty. What was it? Modern Warfare 3 remake or some shit. Not the newest one, the one right before that. They had one of the coolest zombie modes ever, right?
Yeah.
But in the season pass, they had Rhea Ripley and like Cody and Rey
Rhode.
Mysterio in it. So then you'd be playing and you see fucking Cody with an AK-47 glitch sliding around and shit. That shit was wicked funny.
That is funny.
I loved seeing that. That's a sign that wrestling's a big deal right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I mean, like, we don't know it is, but
yeah, it's like there's a lot of games that do that kind of shit, and I don't like it
Sure.
in a way because
Sure.
I can't stand that. Like in Rainbow Six Siege, you have like fucking Master Chief sliding around, and
oh my god,
it's like, but Siege is like a tactical shooter. Like, why are we?
It's weird.
It's very.
It depends
strange.
on the game. Call of Duty's more
Fortnite
arcadey,
is
so it's
the
like,
problem. Fortnite is what started that.
It is, yeah. Skins and dances and shit.
Call of Duty does a lot of it.
Yep.
The
Call of Duty
whole
does the same
main
shit.
Call of Duty menu is just like packs of
Yep.
like characters.
And now Warzone, and it's just Fortnite put Call of Duty.
It is.
Yeah. Which, whatever. The Warzone zombies though, that was the shit.
But
that
yeah,
was
like
fun.
to your point, it is like, it's a good sign for wrestling. When
Yeah.
you're,
You're
people
seeing
are-
wrestling as DLCs,
Right.
like wrestlers as DLCs and shit.
it shows that it's big enough to sell for them to be confident enough that it's going to sell.
It wouldn't be in the game if they didn't think it was going to sell.
Yeah. So now let's see. We've seen Raw and 2 Raws and 2 SmackDowns. Is that how we? No, we've
I
seen
think so.
a SmackDown and 2
We
Raws.
saw a SmackDown and 2 Raws, I think.
I can't remember.
No pay-per-view
Anyway,
because Elimination Chamber is coming up, right?
we talked about yeah Sunday
It's this Sunday, right?
or Saturday.
Saturday. Yeah.
Is it Saturday?
I think so.
Can't remember.
That's going to be so good.
We talked about LA Knight and Shinsuke, right? And
A little bit, yeah. How they just kind of...
how it disappeared.
It disappeared, yeah.
And then it came back
Yeah.
a
Yep.
little bit.
A little bit.
It came back
And
like a
also,
couple weeks ago.
he's like kind of feuding with Drew
Yeah.
a bit.
Yeah.
I think they might have tried to capitalize on the awkwardness of the Rumble with that a little bit, which is
Yeah.
smart.
and
That's
they
fine.
gave and I liked that they gave LA Knight some more time. They need to just give him more screen time.
That's
I think
right.
As part of this thing.
That's all you need to do with him. He's
So
great.
they let him talk a little bit, which was nice.
Yep.
And even it's like Shinsuke basically just stood outside the ring
Yeah, he
by
kind
the
of did.
commentary table. He's just
Yeah.
like, I'm here now.
I'm here.
It
I wonder what that
It was kind of a
I wonder
weird
why.
segment.
It makes me wonder if like something happened where he kind of had to go away for a bit. Like maybe he had to go to Japan
Yeah.
for something. A family
Well, they do
thing
like
he's
a lot of
private
these
about.
segments
Who
where
knows?
like you have 2 guys come out and they're talking to each other, and then it becomes about the other 2 guys.
yeah, because
someone
the
else
third
shows
guy
up.
comes in and then
Yeah.
guy A backs
And then
out
he has to,
just
like,
sits in the
slink out
corner and
or fucking-
watches. Yeah.
Or like duck under the hard cam.
That's funny. They definitely do that. They for sure do that.
Or they do it a lot of after matches too. Like
Yeah.
when Braun Breaker, was it Braun Breaker that won his match? I don't remember if I took notes on that. It was a blur. Somebody showed. Oh, it was NXT. It was on NXT. I was watching.
NXT. Ricky?
Oba Femi came out
Oh,
after
Oba Femi, yeah,
Moose's
yeah.
match.
Yeah, dude.
And yeah, so it's like you see like a lot of this stuff where they just like come out for a promo afterwards, and it involves the third
Which
guy.
I think is cool,
just
though.
gone. Yeah,
I
and
think that it's cool
yeah.
that they're trying to tie the promos closer to actual matches
Yeah.
and have it be more obvious the reason. Like, I like the way they've had recently, like a promo segment that directly turns into a match. Where somebody's talking, someone else comes out,
And then Adam
they
Pearce
argue,
shows
and then
up.
Pierce goes, "Let's run it," and then they go, "Cool, bell," and then the commercial, and then when they come back, the match starts. I think that's
I
really
like that,
smooth.
because it used to be like really played out that they would do it. They would be like, right here, right now in San Diego
and then
or
it wouldn't
whatever.
happen.
And then Adam Pearce would be like, I can't sanction this or whatever. It's
Yeah.
like,
So I like that. He's like, "Fuck it, let's do it." Yeah,
because like
cool.
a lot of times it's like a teaser to the crowd,
Yep. Yep, for sure.
which is fine in one way, but
Yeah,
it's kind of like overplayed sometimes.
it can be.
Charlotte picked Tiffany
Mhm.
Stratton. I thought that was awkward the way she did it.
It was a
kind
little
of weird.
awkward, but overall, I like that match.
It's the
I
right-
can't wait to see
yeah,
that.
It is the only way to go. I
It was
think.
awkward though.
Yeah, it was.
I think everything with Charlotte's been awkward since she's been back. Personally,
Me too. She seems different for some reason.
I think she's just trying to find her footing because they mishandled her return. In my opinion, they wanted her to come back and be a babyface and get sympathy with the audience, but then they didn't present her in any amount of a babyface. They just showed these weird kind of generic vignettes of her on a jet and shit, which we talked about last episode. And so it started her off on a weird footing where she came out and tried to tell a legit story of her thinking she's going to have to retire, which is a big deal and should have garnered sympathy because she deserves it. But because they didn't show you any of that, she just got
now you have to pivot a little bit.
And now they have to, everything they've had to pivot. Because now, what was the plan? Were you going to have her come back as a babyface and go on to WrestleMania to face Tiffany, challenge for the title and win?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Because good luck doing that now.
I think that,
You know what I mean?
It's hard to say that wasn't the plan, though.
That's what I mean. But now that she's very clearly being booed and has to pivot into a bad guy, or at least not, you know what I mean, not a bad guy, but the heel role. She has to play up to the boos and be the antagonist in this story that is now going to be about Tiffy.
Yeah, it's going to be about her. Yeah. It's a shame you couldn't throw in like a triple threat.
And Tiffy needs that win bad. Yeah. And Charlotte does not.
It would be
at all.
Her. Yeah.
Tiffy really needs, like, can you imagine how big for her career that would be if she successfully defends that title in her first run ever as a world champion? She has a defense at Mania against Charlotte.
I would put that in.
That's career defining.
Like throw a stipulation in there or something, and then that could be a great match.
That's gonna be an extraordinary match in the ring. It's the finish and which way they decide to go with it is what everybody's worried about. You know what I mean? And it sucks. I've said it last time. I'll say it 100 times. I have a lot of respect for Charlotte. I think she's one of the best women's wrestlers ever. I think she deserves a lot. However, I don't think it's right for the women's division right now to just strap a rocket to her for the 10th time or whatever.
It's not fair.
It's just not fair to anybody else. No. And that's not to say that Charlotte wouldn't have been in the mix this whole time if she wasn't injured.
Well, she would have been.
Of course she would have been. But it doesn't matter. The division moved on in a new direction without her, and now you got to find a way to fit her in at a high level without just putting the belt on her forever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that having her make Tiffy at Mania would be the most impactful positively for their women's division business-wise thing they could do would be having Charlotte put over Tiffy. And who am I to say? But that's what I think. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you never know. They can throw a wrench in that whole thing.
They totally could. Asuka could come back and go funny. Yeah.
I just thought it was like a weird segment. She's like sitting in a chair and like sitting over Tiffany Stratton, who's like having to like play up, still being hurt and confused for like fucking 7 minutes or whatever.
It was,
And she's like, Tiffy. It's like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, I don't know what they were trying to do.
Yeah, it felt like it was just kind of shoehorned in for some reason.
But again, I think they're just trying to pivot and figure out what the best angle is there. Yeah. And I don't think they found it, personally. I don't think they found it with that, but whatever.
Yeah.
The match will not be as big of a deal as it could be with the right game plan going in build-wise, but there's just no chance it's a bad match in the ring. I mean, Charlotte's there, and also Tiffy.
No, it'd still be a big match.
It's going to be a big match.
Like the third match or some shit.
Yeah, it's going to be later.
The thing is, you have 2 nights now. It's so crazy how many matches you can have.
Yeah. And The Rock just showed up again out of nowhere, which I'm sure we'll get to, but that was weird as fuck too.
Yeah.
Is that the weirdest thing that's happened since last time we got together? I would say,
it's
my
not
opinion,
even close.
It's not the weirdest. What am I forgetting?
So well,
he came out and rambled for 30 minutes and then said he wants Cody's soul.
That's like, completely out of left field. So he had this thing. Like, I thought it was going to be about the thing that he gave Cody.
That's what I was hoping for.
Like, because
it's a logical setup,
right? Because that went nowhere. And then so this soul thing,
I
don't know
what
if
he's
it's
trying to do is say,
is turn Cody.
I'm gonna be the next Vince guy that's gonna be a heel, and I want you to be my corporate champion. I think that's what he's aiming at.
Maybe. Well, that's the vibe, yeah.
Yeah.
Which turns Cody heel.
Does, which I like.
But
there's a million ways they could go with it, which is why the end result is nice. It was just super weird, the whole promo. Super weird. A lot of repetition of things he was saying, like said the same thing 5 times before he'd move on and shit.
And then he's like, I want that. And then it's like,
what?
Okay, you want the title, right? And then it's like...
And then they pause and wait forever, and then he goes, no, your soul.
I want your soul. And it's like, what are we watching right now?
Yeah. And I think that...
is this Lucha Underground?
It does create this cool space, though, of who's going to fuck over Cody if it's not Cody turning heel. Is it going to be Drew? Is it going to be Punk? Who's it going to be that goes, I'll be your corporate champion? What if it's Logan Paul?
Yeah. Somebody will step in, right?
Logan Paul would be the smartest one because he's so genuinely hated that he would, there's nothing he could, you have fun ever having a better heel champion for people to chase. Good luck. Who's ever going to be more hated?
No, it's because even Dominic Mysterio's not at that level.
No, he could be a world champion. He's that good, and he's very booed. But he's booed by people who love to boo him, not people who want to hear that his plane crashed.
He's booed by people who aren't even wrestling fans.
That's right. Yep.
Like, that's the difference, is Dominic Mysterio's not that mainstream level.
Dominic Mysterio, I think people kind of understand. They boo him, but they boo him
love
for
to hate
fun
him.
because they realize how good he is as a heel. Yeah. Whereas Logan Paul,
just don't like
people
Logan Paul.
Genuinely are just hoping they find out he died.
Yeah.
And shit. Like,
I fucking love Logan Paul, dude.
He's one of the greatest heels of all time because of how he's turned his real life heat into heat in the ring.
He's just done it masterfully.
Is good. He's great. Like the promo segment he had with Punk, I'm sure is on your list, was incredible. Mm-hmm. He was great in it. On the mic, he was good.
Yeah, because he can come out and be like, you're just mad because, like, you know, I'm
more famous than everybody
better
here.
Than you ever were, you know, in only this amount of time or whatever.
Yeah. And how do you argue it?
And Punk, and Punk is very real about these kind of things. And he would probably go, oh, he is pretty good, you know, but he has to fight back. Obviously, he's going to fight back on it.
And Punk is just having the run of his career right now.
Yeah. Yeah, he is.
He really is.
He really is, and he is enjoying it too.
Yeah, we're seeing a whole different version of him that like we've never seen. I don't even know. I don't know if there's ever been a version of this level of Punk. People say back in the Indies when he was really driven and he was so in love with the Indies and what he was doing, but you hear stories all the time from the Indies of people that had heat with him too, though. You know,
he's really playing up a babyface, though.
He was incredible babyface right now.
He was never really like straight and narrow.
No,
you know,
no. And right now he's just, dude. Oh my god.
Yeah, he was always kind of
so good.
He was always kind of the anti-hero, Stone Cold babyface, you know, where it's like he's not doing everything morally perfect.
I know. I want to see Stone Cold come back for one more match so bad to have the Punk match, but I think it just is too late by like a few years.
He did the Owens thing, and I think that was enough.
And that was
him.
Great. That match was incredible, and Austin was so good in it.
Yeah,
but that's not the match. That match worked great with Owens. It was perfect. But that's not the match people want to see him have with Punk.
There wasn't history between Punk and Austin, or Punk and
Austin and Owens. Austin was just Owens was just talking shit to him, egging him on and shit. And he was like, "Fuck it."
It's like when
I'll whip that ass.
Yeah, that's why it's like when The Rock comes back, it's like sometimes when an older guy comes back, you want to see them clear up a feud that they've already started. But
there's so much history between him but they teased it for years.
Well, sometimes those guys aren't even there anymore. You know what I mean?
Back before Punk left, There was a version of 2K, a game that got released where they did a Jim Ross sit down between Punk and Austin. And it was like, oh my God, they're teasing this match. And then Punk left. And it was like,
yeah.
That is when we would have wanted to see it, is back then, 10 years ago. Now I don't see Austin being confident putting on the black tights, full bore Austin mode, and having a wrestling match with Punk. And I think that's the only way Punk would want to do it.
Yeah. I just don't think it's. I don't think.
And I don't see that happening. And that's okay. It's okay. Time.
I wouldn't mind seeing Punk and Jeff Hardy clear up that whole thing.
And Jeff Hardy can still go full bore
because Jeff Hardy was on NXT.
That is a very worthwhile thing to talk about too. How cool is that? They better go in the Hall of Fame, dude.
Not only that, but it was cool seeing Santino come out with his music.
Oh, he got a huge pop. Music. Yeah, he got a huge pop, and he was like getting emotional and shit. How do you not? He was a beloved character.
Yeah.
He was. He was one of those guys like R-Truth where it's like, you don't need to be a world champion. You don't need to chase the standard glory. Yeah. And you have a role that is very unique to you. And you can do this forever, man.
I'm wondering when things are going to start getting foggy. Like, because you have like Moose defending the X Division title and you have like the NXT championship on the line or something. What happens when someone drops
Fraxium's one of the best tag teams in the world right now. They're crushing. Yeah. They're legit one of the best tag teams in the world, and they're facing the Hardys for TNA's belts.
Yeah.
What if they win that?
Right. So
that's an NXT team winning a TNA belt. That's what I'm saying. Big
that's
deal.
Where things get muddy. Like,
that's coming.
What do you do? So then you just have to defend the belt on their show or whatever.
They would have to start appearing on TNA. And that's good. I think that's the logical move, man.
I think it's great. I think that, yes, it's perfect right here. And so WWE is also launching Evolve, which is like it's almost it's NXT.
It is. Now, Evolve was a indie company. I think they bought the rights to it. Now they're relaunching it.
Yep. And so NXT, grew so much that it's become a third show. It's like a B-tier show.
Yeah.
So now
how crazy is
it's
that?
not even their developmental almost anymore. It's
it's
their
only
AAA
because it's still tied to it, but it's their AAA.
Yeah.
It's their right below majors.
Yeah.
League, that's their finishing league, whereas Evolve will probably be more like a smaller indie, like what NXT was when it first started.
Yep, that's what they're trying to do is just create
it. Is so bonkers,
and it's crazy that you have to make another show for that. That's insane.
And they're that big where it warrants it. That's wild.
And I think it'll work out too. It's not like it needs to, because NXT's got so many viewers now. It's so like good, it doesn't feel like a developmental show anymore.
No, it feels like a genuine third brand. And it's that good. The women's division on NXT might be the best women's division in all of wrestling.
Yeah. Well, a lot of them are going to come over. I mean, we already got one in the chamber.
Yeah. Yep.
What was Javon Evans, dude. That guy is a fucking athlete, dude.
Bro.
And his match, obviously with Ricky Saints, that was a great match.
Yeah. Dude, Ricky Saints is fucking good.
They worked well as a tag team, I thought.
They did. Yeah.
And man, like that was tough because even watching just the YouTube like backstage video of him talking about it, it's like hard not to feel good for that kid,
Who?
Happy for him. Saints.
Oh, Saints, yeah.
It's hard it's hard because you're like he's just so happy to be there, and you can see it on his face.
Gonna get an opportunity that's uncolored. It's all gonna be, how good are you? You're working with Michaels, bro. You're working with Michaels, who is likely gonna win Booker of the Year.
Yeah.
In all metrics. So whoever opinion you trust, they're gonna tell you Michaels is Booker of the Year, or they're bonkers.
Yeah, that's actually fair.
Because NXT is having like one of the best single years.
Well, just that one this week was crazy. I mean, it was just absolutely crazy. The Hardys came back. You had Ricky Saints, Ricky Stark's debut, and then you also had and then you had Moose in his match.
That's a big deal, man.
And then you had
Hendry's been around.
Oba Femi come out.
Yep.
And he's challenging him for the title, or putting up his title or whatever.
And like the women's division is so bonkers. We've got Julia, we've got Stephanie Vakir, we've got Jordan Grace now.
Yeah.
It's insane, man. Insane.
Yep.
And they already had a stacked division, but it's different level now, man. And it's so good. You've got people from the main roster coming in regularly to interact with NXT talent because they're like, I got to be in on this. Period.
Well,
like Bayley.
It's because NXT talent is becoming a part of. It's almost like they're not
it's
like
starting
here's
to
where you promote.
integrated.
Like they're not going. You're promoted to the main roster. They're just going. You're organically getting moved into the story.
It's starting to level out to where, you're starting to see movement like you do between Raw and SmackDown, where we have a full roster on Raw and SmackDown, and generally
there's a pool
they
of
are
talent
there
also here in
but
NXT.
every once in a while you'll see guys cross. NXT is now elevated to a point where it's like you said. I don't think it's quite Raw and SmackDown yet,
but it's a fishbowl.
It's so close that they're starting to mingle on a regular basis. And that wasn't a thing before.
Right. Yeah, and it's not like they're spinning the bingo wheel and pulling somebody out. It's like they're fucking intentionally putting people in
story. It's all for story, and it's all logical. Having someone like Bayley show up to feud with the women there is just genius.
Yeah.
One, she's one of the best ever, and two, it's like of course she's going to go to NXT.
Yeah.
That is the place that made her.
And it's easy when you have these.
She's an OG 4 horsewoman.
Like your bi-weekly stories. So you can go, I'm on Raw this week. Next week I got like a thing on NXT.
Yeah.
And then I'll be back on Raw or whatever. And
exactly.
And you're doing away with a lot of house shows. So
and the more you watch it all take place, the more the web makes sense. And you go, oh, they're gods at this.
Yep.
This is so different level, man. I just didn't even have a vision for it until it was all an act.
No, I didn't.
And you're seeing it in real time going, oh my God, this is incredible.
Yeah, because even if I fantasy booked it, I wouldn't have done it.
You wouldn't have ever even thought of it this way. Yeah. Me neither. NXT is a brand you can choose in GM mode and have full compete with everybody too. Same with WCW, which I think is pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, because in the older one, the one from last year, you can pick like the GM for each show, and it's like Mick Foley, Stephanie McMahon, and Eric Bischoff.
Yep.
Or I think you can even pick a custom one and just pick.
You could, and I'm pretty sure you could pick Xavier Woods too, which is pretty funny.
Yeah.
They put him and what's his fucking face? The Prince Pretty there.
Tyler Breeze.
Tyler Breeze. I love Tyler Breeze, man. I loved him in NXT OG era with like the 4 horsewomen and stuff when he was there facing like Sami pre-main roster and stuff.
Yeah.
I loved the Tyler Breeze. I hate that he didn't make it bigger. I thought he was going to be the next big guy.
I thought so too. I thought he was underutilized. It was a Vince thing.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that.
He reminded me so much of Sean back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I made
was good in the ring, dude. Wicked good.
I made a Reddit post on like the WWE subreddit. I was like, "What's everyone's opinion on Tyler Breeze?" And I just put Tyler Breeze, like a picture of Tyler Breeze. Got some pretty cool opinions because like a lot of people liked him, and it just felt like he never got a push. Like he just never got what he. Yeah. And like the character was kind of general at first, and then all of a sudden
it got so good.
He was like Triple H was like, "Hey, use the selfie stick or whatever."
That was where it all
changed it
because people like, loved it. His theme was wicked good too.
Yeah,
he was great, man.
Yeah, and then looking at himself on the apron, on the ring apron, is so good.
And he could talk. He had it all, dude. He had a good look.
I think
he was great in the ring.
I think he didn't have the physique that Vince wanted.
I think that's it. He wasn't as big of a guy, but he was still in good shape.
Yeah, and it was his idea. The character was. So.
But I believe he works backstage now, and obviously he's a major player in Up, Down, Down and shit. So
he's fine.
I love that
he's fine
like
with where he is.
Yeah, he seems like he's super happy and he's around. So good on him.
Yeah, he's still under contract with them technically. So which is fine. You never know. You could just show up one day.
Rumble, show up in the Rumble, dude.
That would be sweet.
I think people. I think they'd get a big enough pop where I think they'd be surprised.
I think so. It wasn't very long ago. I mean,
no, 10 years max.
Yeah, But man, I always really liked him. There was a couple of NXT gimmicks back then I really liked, like Ty Dillinger with the Perfect 10, and then Bo Dallas. Bo Dallas had the Bo Leave.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were doing well there, and I was surprised that a lot of those guys didn't make it.
But if they would have come up now, they would have had a better chance, I think.
I think so.
It's not guaranteed. It's never guaranteed. Nothing is.
Yeah.
But if you get over, they give you fair chances to get over now. You will get on TV.
Mm-hmm.
It's what are you going to do with it? It's why Ricochet failed. He came up. He was doing awesome in NXT.
That's fair.
They brought him up. They gave him a fuck ton of TV time. And then people didn't care. And that's a bummer. He'd have good matches, but then they put a mic in his face. He just couldn't talk. You know?
Yeah.
And I loved Ricochet.
And now he's like,
it just is what it is, man.
Doing like a Andrew Tate gimmick. It's like,
yeah. I hope it works. I hope he does something that gets over huge in AEW. He's great in the ring. I hope Tony doesn't just blow his load on him quick and then send him home for 2 years.
Tony fumbled. Those chants were so good on that fucking during Saints' match.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Tony fucking fumbled.
I was like, I can't believe they're chanting that.
We all know it. That's awesome.
So cool. So aggressive, dude. The NXT crowd is great because it's small.
Yeah. And
they can just, they're very vocal.
They get away with more.
Yeah.
It's smaller and they're very vocal and they'll chant fuck you and shit like that. They don't give a fuck.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
They don't care. And it won't get washed out by a 20,000 seater arena or whatever because there's fucking 500 people in there or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. It's a small soundstage.
Whatever. There's 250 people or something there.
There's more people than it looks on TV. You can because when they do get an outward shot, you can see like upper decks and stuff like that. So there's a lot.
It's like a mini version of their arena setup.
Yeah,
it really is. It has a similar shape and design, and it's all just scaled down a bit.
Yeah, and that's all on purpose.
Yes.
Like from the ring, you probably don't notice much of a difference. Obviously, it's quieter.
Yeah,
but it's dark out there, farther out into the crowd. So I don't know if you really notice.
Yeah,
once you get into a big arena, sometimes you're not really seeing that crowd.
Like since the TNA, maybe I'm wrong on this, but it looks like TNA right now is operating in a similar size spot.
That's exactly
their arena setup reminds me a lot of NXT's now. Like they've kind of taken pointers from it and went, we're going to do that.
They want them to be similar.
Dude, it's such a good stage to do that it almost makes you wonder, like, is it better presentation in those soundstage setups that are controlled like that than the live shows? I don't know, but I don't think it's worse.
It's more condensed. It's probably easier to manage for sure.
Yeah, I've seen it enough now where I go, I do not think that is a worse presentation than when they do the live arenas for Raw and SmackDown. I just don't think it's a worse presentation. I don't know that it's better, but I don't think it's worse. And it's even worth asking the question because it's so good. NXT is just so good right now.
Yeah, I would argue it's probably about the same. They're like, I would imagine that the camera crews aren't the same people. It's probably also guys that are training to do stuff on the main roster. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't think it's the same crew. They're not traveling to NXT then going to SmackDown.
No,
it's a different set of guys.
Yeah.
So I think they're probably teaching them the way to do it the same way that main roster is.
Yep.
So I think they want the production to be the same.
Small thing I noticed too that I actually think is helping. Like one, commentary team on NXT is just god tier.
Yeah.
Booker T. I can't remember the other guy's name. I always forget his name.
Yeah, I can hear
it's
his
like
voice
Vic something, isn't it?
Yeah.
But
I don't remember.
He's great though. Him and Booker T are so good. And they brought in Corey
Graves.
And there was this thing about it where people thought it was like an attack on Corey and stuff like that. I don't know that it was.
Well, Corey posted some weird shit.
Yeah, he did.
Kind of cryptic.
And I totally get what he was saying, but I think that him coming to NXT ended up being a hit because NXT's so on fire right now and it's elevating so high that he can kind of help further legitimize it by being a major brand commentator coming in to work with them.
Yeah.
It's like,
I don't know if it's like a dig at Pat McAfee or what it was, but
I don't think there's real heat anywhere there. And if there is, we're going to find out eventually, I'm sure, you know?
Yeah. Well, so what? It's a big deal.
Who cares?
You know what I mean? They don't work together anyway.
Nope.
you know, and
Oh, I don't even
Michael
mean
Cole
between
is,
Pat and Corey. I mean, like, is Corey pissed that he didn't get that? Probably. But is he like, I don't trust Triple H ever again? Probably fucking not.
no, but the reality is Corey should be there for when McAfee's out
That's
or
right.
whatever. You know what I mean?
That's
Because
right.
these guys from NXT need to be able to step up and be on the main shows.
Mhm.
Because
Mhm.
McAfee goes out for college game day during college football season.
Yes.
So you do need someone who can step up and take that place.
Yep.
I just think the McAfee Michael Cole sort of,
Their dynamic is so good that they just have to have it.
Yeah.
You just have to put it on TV. Sorry, you just do. And they're starting and with Tessitore, dude. Tessitore's good
Tessitore's
too.
good too.
He's really good and he's fit in really well.
Yeah.
And he's only getting better.
McAfee, when they pulled up the Michael Cole interview on Impulsive, he's talking about how, you know, Pat's just like a kid, you know, he's like just watching wrestling as a fan, basically. And then Pat McAfee has the Padistrator, and he zooms in on the fucking shirt.
That's dude.
He's like, we got 1, 2, 3 buttons holding on for their life.
Dude, Pat and Cole are just so good, man. So good.
Yeah, there was like a story about how like I guess Pat had showed up at like WrestleMania with like tuxedo shorts or some weird shit on, right? And Michael Cole like freaked out on him. And he was like, "What are you doing, dude? It's WrestleMania. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
You need to be in a decked suit only."
And then Pat like just walked away. And I guess Michael Cole talked to him, and Pat was like, "What are you doing, dude? Like, you literally just embarrassed me, like in front of the entire like we were in Gorilla. There, like you're in front of everyone." And I don't know, like basically the rest of, I guess, Triple H and like all those guys kind of came to his defense, because it's not really to Pat's, because it's like he doesn't have, there's not, if there was a dress code, he would have followed it. Yeah. But obviously there isn't. So it was like Michael Cole just kind of going off about it.
He was just thinking.
It was weird.
He was still stuck in the old way.
Yeah, he probably.
Vince would have went, your head's cut off and you're fired.
Yeah. And it's more laid back than that. And I think Cole needed to, it needed to be, I think it was a good point for him to, it seemed like it was a spot where he was like, oh, I need to relax. Like I can, you know, loosen my shoulders a little bit. And
he's not in your ear anymore, screaming at you.
Yeah,
brother.
It's not that strict anymore.
And
There's an interesting story to hear.
Good.
Yeah. I forget where I read that, but I was like,
that's such a good story to like giving you insight into the difference backstage and what it's like now.
It is much more casual.
And seeing it through the lens of somebody like Cole, who is he's got to be so traumatized and shell-shocked from Vince.
Yeah, and Pat McAfee is not a suit guy though. Like that's not how his personality is different.
He's more likely to wear a tuxedo T-shirt.
Yeah, and it's more in character if he does. Yep. You know,
and that's okay.
It's like if the King fucking Jerry Lawler walks over with a crown and sits down.
I'll say this: I like to see guys look like stars though. I'd like to see more of that. I don't need to see Booker T necessarily wearing a suit.
No.
It's like you just said with Jerry the King Lawler. Why is it that everyone wore a suit, but he got to wear his wrestling gear?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I want to see more of. I'd like to see,
especially if
Corey Graves he's a good line rider with it, where he'll wear a suit and he'll deck out, but he still has his kind of edgier style.
Yeah.
I'd like to see him be able to go further with that and show up and be wearing a fucking vest and like a leather vest or a jean
especially
vest.
If you
like
are
his style shit and jeans, tight jeans.
If you were already a performer,
whatever,
too,
you know,
why not? Like have some inspiration for your ring gear.
As long as you're dressing decked out and you're characterized.
But I don't want Booker T. I don't want Booker T in tights and boots. You know what I mean?
Because that doesn't make any sense.
Right.
But that's why I say Booker T's not a great example.
But it's like I don't mind.
But somebody like Corey Graves,
they're sitting behind a desk.
Yeah,
and who cares? You only see them once in a while.
People dress up to their style as long as they're decked. They're not like, well, my style is I wear a sweatsuit. Okay, that's beat though.
I wear a wife beater and
you need character unless it's Mankind.
Holes in them.
Unless it's Mick Foley. because it's so tied to his character. If he came in,
if he came in with the mask,
if he had the mask on and was wearing that shitty button-up shirt with the sleeves ripped and shit and sweatbands, you'd go, yeah, it's Mankind.
I always wondered how many of those he has. Like, I wonder if he just has one.
Yes, what's that? And it just smells wicked
the
bad.
Brown pants that are all torn up and fucking.
Yeah. I love it. I used to love his ref shirt. That was just another one of those bullshit shirts with like Sharpie stripes on it, dude. So funny. So good.
That's great.
But yeah, I love that.
That would be a good question to ask him if you ever had like a Q&A or whatever. Because he does do those shows.
Yeah, you've seen him, right?
Yeah.
We've seen him as well.
If I got another chance to Q&A with him, I'd ask him that.
Yeah, for sure.
Because he probably does have multiple fucking...
I'd like to know, how many masks did you have, and how did you keep it from smelling like death?
Or he just has one. They probably have people for that.
You just have one, and it just smells like shit?
They probably have people for that stuff that that's part of the...
Well, back in the 90s, who knows?
That's fair.
But
now it's all...
some dudes that were like, this guy smells wicked bad.
Yeah. Well, shit, now Rollins has a new outfit every week.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of smelling bad, there was, what was it, RVD and Maven had a beef, right? They were talking about how Van Dam smelled bad or whatever.
Wicked funny, dude.
Maven was like asked who, like, I don't know if he was directly asked who was the worst smelling he ever worked with.
I think so. It was during like a Q&A thing.
I can't remember what the question was.
He did like fan questions or something on his show.
Yeah, and RVD came up.
RVD's pretty bad. And RVD was like, what the fuck?
Van Dam's like, I'm doing a 2-hour stream about how I don't stink.
Yeah. And then Maven came back and was like, I'm sorry, bro. Like, I was just saying in passing, like, I didn't think it was a big deal. I apologize.
I would imagine RVD probably smelled like weed, though, more than anything.
Probably, dude. Probably. That's so funny.
It's like such a funny, like, and it's funny because they're both like just YouTubers now, basically.
And they're so obviously chill guys.
Yeah. Maven's channel's great.
Oh, he's my favorite wrestling channel right now, straight up. Yeah. I love what he's doing. Him and Chris Van Vliet are like the best. Stevie Richards is really good. I like his. I think that
I watch 6 Feet Under sometimes.
Sometimes depends who he has on.
Yeah,
but generally, like he had Mark Henry on. Had to see it because I love Mark Henry. And I like that too because it's all. I just like hearing the guys talk about wrestling. I don't give a fuck if they're talking about
Impulsive is becoming that too, though.
And it's been good. Yeah. You know who has a lot of really good wrestling interviews surprisingly now too? Ariel Helwani. He's been kind of really embracing wrestling and he's good. He's very obviously a fan as well. So it's cool. And he's had a lot of good interviews on there.
He's always been pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, I've always liked Ariel's interviews.
Yeah.
He's controversial,
but,
especially in the MMA space.
You're gonna be though.
In wrestling, not as much.
Good luck not being controversial now,
especially when he's ever a guy calling out all the scum garbage Dana does.
Right? Yeah, that's fair.
Because the second you call that out, shocker, he goes, "Oh, you can never have a press pass."
He was a commentator. You know, I mean, we've been watching UFC since like
the beginning. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, we were little kids when it started. So
so it's like a lot of that. He was there, he was there for a good portion of it.
He's one of the most legendary,
especially when they were growing. Guys. He was a huge part of that media.
Absolutely, absolutely. But yeah, I love seeing him cover wrestling and embrace it, and be able to use his platform to do it because he has a big platform. Yeah, and it's not like they need it, but it's just cool to see that connect.
Well, it's like a lot of shows that are. Even Pat McAfee's show is like becoming a lot of wrestling now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And that's good because it gives him something during the off season.
He's getting people on there that are crazy guests too, like fucking Steph. Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, she wouldn't.
I'm shocked he got Steph on there. And shocker, she was incredible. But...
Well, I think what's good about his show is that they don't have to do 3 hours with him.
No.
They just come in, they do like a 45 minutes, they go to a commercial break or something, they do another 15 or whatever, and then it's...
Yeah. And he asks good questions and shit.
Yeah. And it's casual.
Yeah.
So it's not just him and this person.
Entrances. They try to do entrances, but all they're doing is walking across the gym.
And they have to like avoid fucking...
there's like a fucking ball rolling by and shit.
They're fucking... Like, that compound that they have is sick.
It's wicked cool.
The Thunderdome.
That's so good.
Yeah, but the difference is it's not one-on-one. It's like he has his goons over there,
and they'll ask questions, and a lot of times they'll ask good questions too.
Well, they're all fans too.
Who's the guy he always has? There's a dude who's always remoted in. Who's just
that's AJ Hawk. AJ Hawk
right?
was a middle linebacker for the Green Bay Packers for a long time.
Yeah,
good one too. He played along with Clay Matthews. Those two.
Okay, cool.
They were the main linebackers for them.
Yeah, he's like a regular on the show, isn't he?
AJ, he's on there all the time.
Yep, he's good.
Yeah, I love AJ Hawk. Yeah, he was a good player too, real good tackler. Good middle linebacker. Solid middle linebacker that no one really thought about. He was one of those guys that's like fills the gap all the time, always makes the play.
The guys that'll be there till they retire too.
But you don't notice the guy who's making all the tackles. It's just,
Yeah, they're just going, who's the QB? Who's the wide receiver?
It's
that's cool.
But yeah, he's always been on there for as long as I can remember.
Mm-hmm.
He's got Ty Schmidt and all these other, and even his producers and stuff chime in once in a while or whatever. They can ask questions too. He's not restrictive about who can ask questions, and I like that.
That's how it has to be.
Right.
And that ties back to the current WWE system, where that is like overwhelming consensus from the wrestlers is that's how it's different now.
Mm-hmm.
Is working with Triple H. He's so receptive to information.
It's very
like Road Dogg was recently on CVV, and he was talking about how different it is and how much he loves working with Triple H, and how no idea, nobody's told shut the fuck up, no one's told they can't chime in. Yep. If it's a bad idea, he's going to tell you it's a bad idea. Or he said, Triple H put it to him this way: I need you to never be afraid ever again to pitch anything to me. But the flip side of that is you've got to be able to accept that sometimes, and probably a lot of times, I'm just going to tell you no, and you got to take the no.
Right.
You got to go, okay, cool. And then just keep throwing ideas, but I'm going to tell you no to probably most of them.
Yeah.
And then if you have a great one, we're going to go with it.
Well, that is always how it goes, though. In a way. Because so Jericho was talking about that too on that same show. Yeah. And he was talking about how basically Vince would have basically two different answers. Usually it's yes or no. You know what I mean? But Jericho would always go with idea. Just keep throwing ideas.
Constant.
Why not? And honestly, most of the time they worked. You know what I mean?
If you just Jericho's been pretty on the nose, man.
How do you get shit over? Some of the shit that he got over was crazy, dude.
He's just a special cat, dude. Special talent. One of the all-time best. Straight up.
Yeah.
Jericho really is. I get that what he's doing right now is not his best work. But how many decades of perfect work to finally get to a place where the stuff he's doing right now doesn't feel like it's on par with his best work. It's that means that stuff he was doing since AEW did feel like it was some of his best work, though, which I think it did. The Inner Circle era, that was such a good era of AEW. Those early couple years, it was genuinely wicked good, dude.
Yeah.
And but a lot of that is to do with Jericho.
Not all of his work has been bad in AEW.
No chance. Even some of the stuff that people would say is corny or whatever, it was some of the best stuff. Of course, it's corny stuff. The musical number with MJF was so good, dude.
Well, that was the whole thing. Was Jericho's whole thing is corny, though.
Yeah,
that's the whole shtick.
The debate he had with Orange Cassidy was wicked funny. When Bischoff came out and Cassidy read off some wicked, complicated, nuanced answer. Jericho's just he can't be saying this. Jericho's just, dude, he's great, man.
Yeah, there's so many good fucking things, man.
He's invaluable. And when he ever does decide, okay, I'm not moving how I need to, I'm not able to work as well as I want to, so it's time to hang up the boots, he must be a background guy for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
He's so invaluable to the business.
We had talked about the Lion Tamer versus the Walls of Jericho. And on that show, he was talking about how it wasn't really, they're not separate moves. Mm-hmm. All he did was modify it so that he could do it to taller guys. Because with Kane, the idea was your knee is on their head.
Yeah. How are you going to do that to a 7-foot guy?
Yeah.
You're not.
So he basically was I just turned it into a Boston Crab, basically, so that I could do it to.
But we
bigger
remember,
guys.
and as fans, we'll always see the separation that the walls
I
of
always
Jericho
look
is
at it
kind of
that
a
way.
normal Boston Crab, and the Lion Tamer was the knee on the head.
Right. And that's the way I'm always going to look at it. And
Yes.
he's, you know, it's like he's basically saying, no, they're the same move, but I just changed it.
But they're
It's
not.
like, yeah,
They're not though, bud.
Yeah.
They're you just said they're not. They're the same move, but I changed it.
Yeah.
Changing it makes them not the same.
Yeah, they kind of does.
So that's a weird thing, but it's funny.
But like the name didn't change when he changed it.
No, that's right.
It just changed when he moved over.
They just changed it. Yeah.
I don't know if it changed after he moved from WCW or when it. It must have been done. It must have been.
They were calling it the Walls of Jericho immediately.
Right. Yeah.
But he was still doing it with the knee on the head.
Yeah.
So it's just interchangeable.
So it's still the Lion Tamer at that time.
Yes, and that makes sense. The name change wasn't because of a change.
Right.
We just will always see it like
That's
that.
just the way you're gonna look at it.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's cool. I like that kind of shit. Like you wouldn't ever know that stuff.
No,
it's just like interesting, like random tidbits that you wouldn't fucking get to know.
Shit, dude. Love that shit.
Jericho's fucking, even like the stuff he just did like a movie or some shit called Dark Match or whatever, and it's on like Shudder. And I know who has Shudder.
I have to see that, dude.
But I heard it's good.
Yeah,
I actually heard it's good. And he's in Terrifier 3. I didn't see the third one yet.
And it's Shudder, which means it's probably going to be some like B movie horror movie that's going to be wicked fun.
Yeah, that's what it was.
I want to see.
It's probably just some weird slasher.
Wasn't Jericho in Sharknado?
I think so.
He was in multiple Sharknado movies.
Yeah, I didn't see Terrifier 3, but I know he's in that. He's got a kill scene.
You just know he can do comedy acting wicked good.
Yes. Yeah.
There's no question.
Yeah, and that's so in character for Jericho too.
He was always a god tier comedy act for me.
Yeah. Well, just everything he does is like, it feels like he just made one personality and it all works.
And it just works for everything, yeah.
Music and fucking, everything.
Dude, Fozzie's sick. I don't care. Fozzie's sick.
Yeah, Fozzie is pretty,
I like Fozzie. I don't care. I think they're sick as fuck.
So then obviously we got the Chamber coming up.
Yeah.
That's what, I can't even remember what we said. Saturday?
I think it's the Saturday.
Damian Priest got into it.
Yep.
Logan Paul's in it. Cody's in it.
Cody's in it. No.
Is Cody?
Cody's
no, Roman's in it. Roman's
in it. Yeah, not Cody. It's Punk, Cena, Priest,
Drew McIntyre,
Logan Paul, and Roman, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a crazy match, dude. Wow.
Yeah. Wow. I wonder how that's gonna go, but
I think somebody's gonna fuck over Roman. That will lead to a match between whoever fucks over Roman and them at Mania, probably.
They're almost all believable, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm. Everybody is. Anybody in that
I don't
wins
see
it
Priest.
goes.
I don't see Priest winning it. I don't see Logan Paul winning it.
I
see Logan Paul doing some crazy shit though in that match. I see him jumping off of some fucked up chamber or whatever, one of those fucking pods.
Somebody's gonna get hurt, man.
Mm-hmm.
Chamber matches are bittersweet for me because they're always really crazy to watch. They always deliver. I can't think of one I've seen that wasn't crazy. But I just know behind the scenes that there's like a 100% injury rate for the matches. Like every time somebody gets injured and it's sketchy.
Yeah. It's always like one of the first things I play.
Triple H had his fucking throat crushed and shit during one.
Yeah. JD McDonagh got injured on whatever show that was. I guess he cracked a rib and punctured a lung
and finished the match.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, he went off the announce table. Jesus Christ.
That was one of the most fucked up bumps I've seen in a while. It was bad.
It could have been worse for sure.
Could have been.
Yeah, he could have had a neck
injury. If he would have hit his actual neck base on the corner of the table, probably could have broke his neck.
He landed like with the back of his shoulder blade, kind of.
And it instant broke a rib and fucking his rib went to his lung, dude. Wicked scary. You know, the respect bar for him backstage for finishing the match after that went, pew, just lasered.
Yeah, you hear stories about guys doing that. It's like, man, that's fucking
what the fuck, dude?
Especially the Triple H's quad, dude. That one bugs me because
that's the craziest one of all time.
Oh my god,
that's one of the greatest tag matches ever in wrestling history, too. It was fucking Benoit and Jericho versus Austin and Triple H, I think, right?
Dude,
And
Jericho's the worst guy to have to deal with after that.
Mm-hmm.
After
and Jericho tells stories about it too, how Triple H went to him and was like, what the fuck do you want me to do now? And he goes, you got to do the walls. And he was just like, are you kidding me? He's like, fucking do it. And then he did it to him with a torn quad.
Yeah.
And he's just screaming bloody murder.
It's just the worst move to have to deal with. And that is one
of the most fucked up injuries I've ever seen. Like, I was watching that Raw live, sitting there when it happened as a kid, and was like, "Oh my god."
Yeah, he's had some though, with the fucking table splintering off into his shin there.
Yeah,
in the Mankind match. I think it was.
Yep. What was that? Royal Rumble? Royal Rumble in Madison Square Garden.
It was no. Oh yeah, Royal Rumble 2000. I think it was.
Royal Rumble 2000. Yeah,
that was Cactus Jack.
No holds barred match or whatever with the Cactus Jack. Yep. Where they fought up that, because that had such a cool entrance. The Madison Square Garden Royal Rumble entrance, that was the side alley. Wicked cool. I love that entrance. They brought that back again for a Rumble they did. The one where Cena returned after like 6 months from
that's
from
right.
the bicep or whatever, or pack or something.
They did.
Yeah.
They have a very similar set now on a lot of these pay-per-views. It's not, it's just a straight alley and then the doorway and then Gorilla's right behind it.
Yep. Yep. I like that.
It is cool, yeah. They did it for a lot of shows. They do it for a lot of pay-per-views because it allows you to open up a lot of seating.
Yeah, and I get like Mania will always have the huge stage and a mile-long ramp,
but they're in a giant stadium.
They're in a football stadium and they're making room for crowds. So I get it. Yeah, I get it. But
the next one's going to New Orleans, I guess.
It's gonna be good.
That'll be big.
I can't wait.
So there's the chamber match. Let's see. Oh, fucking! So Dom and AJ Styles had a match on Raw, and I was watching Carlito as he goes out of the ring. AJ takes off his shirt when he gets in the ring, throws it right, almost gets it into the crowd, and it lands down on the ringside. Carlito goes out, picks it up, like starts handing it to a fan and pulls it away.
So good, dude. So good.
Oh my god, it was so good. And he throws it under the apron or whatever. I was like, oh my god, that was so Carlito, dude.
That's not where he threw it to AJ and AJ caught it wicked crazy, right?
No,
because that recently happened too, but that was somebody else, wasn't it?
Yeah,
somebody threw their fucking shirt at him and he just went snatched.
Oh yeah. That was different. Yeah, because Carlito just fucking acted like he was going to give it to somebody all
and
nice
then
and shit.
Fuck you.
He's like, it's under the apron now.
I love him so much. Oh, so good.
Just like a funny thing I saw.
And I like seeing Dom get opportunities to have matches with major guys. Yeah. We need that.
Yep.
They got to keep building Dom. Wicked bad. He's so good, dude.
That's what we were talking about. Just Dom with Carlito. Like, that's the stuff
perfect.
That,
it's absolutely perfect.
That's great.
Yep.
Carlito's a great heel. I mean, and he's a comedy guy that you can't really hate him either.
He's so good. Yeah, he's so good.
It's even like, R-Truth, it's like he can do a heel character, but you want him to be the funny.
Yeah. Yep. Whereas Carlito's wicked funny, but he can be
he's a believer
at all times, and it gets over. You know, that's a good point. You don't want to see. No one wants to boo R-Truth anymore.
Yep.
He's kind of in the end of his career where, not that he's going to retire anytime soon necessarily, but everything he does from now on, he can just play that guy that way as a babyface. He can ride it out the rest of his career, and it's going to work over and over again.
Yeah. Well, R-Truth was even on CVV recently, and he. Yep. It wasn't recent. It was a while ago, but he was talking about, how he never needs another run. He just is liking what he's doing.
Yeah. He's not, and he doesn't care.
I would too. That's a great spot to be.
He's got one of the best spots.
You just get to hang out and be fun and fucking play around. You don't have to get
break everybody. When he does have matches, they're usually fun, and he's still really good in the ring, and he's in great shape. He's like 50. Yeah, he can still go. It's crazy. He's a freak, man.
It's crazy. It's just like he said on the show. He doesn't age. He looks exactly the same. He's looked like that for fucking 30 years.
He looked like that when he was fucking K-Quick.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like, how old is this guy?
He stays in shape, dude. Yeah. That's the key.
He is so fucking weird, dude. I love R-Truth. He's one of my favorite dudes in wrestling right now. Hands down. He's so funny, dude. Killings. Did you ever see the episode of, how Cody was doing the show on his bus interviewing people?
Yeah.
He interviewed R-Truth on there, and it was so fucking funny, dude.
I didn't see that. No.
You gotta watch that. Truth
What is it
shot.
Because he didn't put it on YouTube.
It's on YouTube. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. It's on YouTube. I'm pretty sure.
I'm gonna look for it.
Yeah. Yep.
And then we had Liv and Raquel. They won the tag titles.
Yeah,
that's great.
That's a big deal. That's long overdue for Raquel.
It makes you wonder
finally to have a belt.
Yeah, that's
deserving.
Big. And they, Liv should have a belt too.
Sure. Yeah.
But
that elevates the tag division big time.
Yes, it does.
Big time.
And it's not to say anything bad about Naomi and Bianca.
No, hell no. Hell no.
But they're going to go in a different way because Jade Cargill is going to come back soon. Likely.
Yeah.
And there's still like this weird mystery out there, like who attacked her in the first place.
A lot of people thought it was Charlotte.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I think it might be. I mean, how crazy? I don't know if she could do it.
Well, initially they thought it was
over as a babyface. I don't know if you turn Bianca and have her be the one. I don't know.
You could do that.
You could.
That makes a lot of sense.
I don't think we've ever seen her as a heel, is what I mean. So I don't know. There's no way to gauge how good that would be.
It's weird. They have like subtle hints.
I'm down for it.
Like the way that, because Liv and Raquel kind of took credit for it, but sort of. They were like, it wasn't us, but if it was, you know what I mean? And then it's like you have like weird, like some of these segments are weird because you have Bianca or Naomi. One of them was like kind of like cringing a little bit because they were like, it makes you think about it. You're like, oh, maybe it was Naomi or whatever, which it's possible. Either one of those is possible. Bianca seems likely to me.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
And I just think,
makes sense logically.
Yeah.
To have because her be the turn and go heel.
Right.
And maybe it's time, but she's super over with kids.
Yeah.
But they've shown that they don't care. And that if it's the right thing to do storyline wise, you got to do it.
It makes you wonder too if they know already. Like if they had this, if they were like, this person attacked Bianca, we're going to hide it. Or if they're like, someone attacked Bianca, we'll figure that out down the line.
But
Or Jade,
Yeah, I know what you mean.
When they're like, we'll figure it out down the line, who did that? You know what I mean? Like if they don't, maybe they're leaving it up to whatever happens. Then we decide. You know what I mean?
To make the call when the time is right and go, we'll say it's them.
Right. Because
that's smart.
Who knows? Maybe they had it established from the start. Maybe they didn't.
Maybe it was Charlotte or originally.
Yeah, maybe it was Liv and Raquel. Who the fuck knows?
Back. Who knows? But not revealing it and making it this thing.
That would be a smart way to do it.
Because you know who's going to know who it was? Jade.
Yeah.
She's going to know.
Yeah.
And when she comes back, she's going to immediately attack whoever the fuck it was.
Yeah.
And that's how you reveal it. Could you imagine if she comes back and immediately just chases down Bianca and goes after her and Bianca gets exposed as the person who attacked her that way? Yeah. That'd be cool. And Bianca's out there as this good guy, babyface and shit. And fucking Jade comes back, doesn't say shit, just starts attacking her.
Yeah.
And that's how they reveal.
Yelling at her in the ring, that kind of shit. That's what I want to see more of that.
Oh, dude.
Intensity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's some of it, but it's a lot of this. A lot of the intensity right now is these heated promo exchanges that are really smart and well, like dictated by guys who are so good on the mic, like a Punk or a Sami or a Rollins or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that promo between Rollins and Sami before they had a main event match on Raw a while ago was so incredible, dude. They're like screaming at each other and shit.
Yeah.
And they're two good guys that are friends who can't get on the same page about Punk.
Well, it all seems to be,
shit, you know what I mean?
It's all about Roman and Cody.
I love that.
And they're all baby faces, and they're all honestly kind of friends.
Yeah.
In a different way, peripherally. They all have
these different experiences with these characters that cause them to be on different sides.
And they all have their own drive. They all want the same thing.
But there was just, that was an intense promo, I remember, of where like Sami talked shit to, he was like Rollins, like, you like, don't forget you were the one that turned on Roman and put a chair to his back and shit and all this stuff. Yeah. And then Rollins was just like, like wicked intense, nasty line delivery, like yelling was like, and if you're going to talk about me putting a chair to his back, well, you need to look in a mirror because you did the same damn thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, it was an intense promo exchange between them. But that's not what we're talking about that's missing. I want Austin. And the closest we get to that is LA Knight. A guy to walk out, chewing a guy out while he's coming down the ramp, get in the ring, not grab a mic, not do no promo exchange. He just chews his ass out and he's attacking him.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see more of.
Yeah.
And while he's on him, punching him, he's going, "You fucked up, you dumb motherfucker," and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that could work for LA Knight too.
It could. Yeah. He does a little bit of it. The problem is he's also a really good promo. So it's like they want to give him mic because he's good at making he's good at one-liners and quips and saying things that get a lot of attention because he's good.
It's tough. I wonder where they're doing. I wonder where they're going with him. It's just something that I'm just.
The LA Knight situation perplexes me for sure. Weird. I want to see him be. I believe he's a top guy. I believe that the top guys consider him a top guy by like he was on Cody's boss thing.
There's just so many top
Cody
guys.
Cody told him to his face on that. When you were in the ring with me at Mania after I won the title, what did I tell you? And LA Knight said, "You told me top guy shit." Mm-hmm. Like that, like let's go. We're all doing this. We're all top guys or whatever. And he was like, "Do you feel like you belong as a top guy?" And LA Knight was like, "I don't know." And Cody was like, "I'm telling you, you do."
Yeah, yeah.
And he's like the top guy. And so Cody's the top guy.
Well, it's like there's so many top guys.
He's saying that right now in WWE, there is this squad of top guys.
Yeah,
it's not just one. Part. It's a team of top players, so to speak.
That's why it's hard to get another one in there.
Seems to be one of them, but he just has never had the big title or been in like. You know what I mean? Yeah. He's been in main events now. I think it's Roman in a main event.
It's just finding a way to get it in to fit him in there sideways.
It's got to make sense storyline wise. Yeah. And how do you do it when they're still wrapping up story that's been developing for so long? Yeah. You know? Yeah, so it's tough.
I mean, even the Zayn and Owens thing is like better than it's ever been.
Oh my
Zayn
God.
and Owens, like every single time they work together, it's great. So
it's better and better.
You just have to let them take the ball and run again.
And this feud that is going on right now with Sami and Kevin right now leading to Mania is unbelievable.
Yeah, it's great. They're like, well, we can't even sanction this match or whatever.
Yep.
And yeah, that's going to be crazy.
And because when those two going to be Sami and Kevin at Mania.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. And I think with those two in an unsanctioned match, those two together.
Oh my God.
They trust each other so much that like they're gonna let each other get away.
They're gonna do really crazy shit.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be one of those matches where the restraints are a little lifted there.
I think it's gonna be it will potentially be the match of the night.
Yeah,
because look who it is. You know.
Yeah, Owens is just man. I think he's one of my favorites out there right now.
Yep. Yeah. I think he's one of the best in the world, man. He's definitely a top guy, no question. Predictions for the Chamber. Predictions for Chamber. I don't even care about every match, just the Chamber matches. Who do you think's winning the guys? Who do you think's winning the girls? Keep in mind, Charlotte's going after Tiffany, so whoever wins the girls is going to be set up to go after Rhea.
Yeah. Oh man. The men's one is so hard to pick.
That is like impossible. I can't pick it. So hard to pick. There's so many ways they could go with that.
With the process of elimination, you can say Drew probably won't.
Yep.
And Damian probably won't.
The Royal Rumble winner was Jey Uso, and he's going after Gunther.
Right.
So whoever wins
is
facing Cody.
Right.
So it's like, are we going to go Roman again and do the trilogy? We've only ever seen a trilogy one other time, right?
I don't think so.
And it was Rock Austin?
I think Punk.
Did 15, 17, 19?
I think Punk and Cody is what's best for business.
Punk would be a big deal. I want Punk. Or Cena, wicked bad.
It just makes more sense.
I would love to see Punk. This is my dream booking scenario. Punk wins the Chamber, goes after Cody. Punk versus Cody at Mania, and Punk wins it and becomes champ again, and then he faces Cena with the stipulation of Cena facing him to break the record, and have Punk be the specific guy that gets to return the favor after all these years and drop the belt to Cena for Cena's record-breaking win.
Yeah.
That is just big deal story stuff.
It's weird because you almost should have had this, like, this fucking The Rock wanting Cody's soul thing to be back farther so that you could have Punk win the belt from Cody. Cody's all distraught and shit. Then he goes, I don't know what else to do, and sells the belt or sells the soul
to
The Rock.
That's a good way to do it.
And because then you still have something for Cody to do immediately. And it's a big deal because it's involved with The Rock. But I think I think CM Punk is the most logical way to go. The way I would want to see it go.
The way I'd want to see it go. I like Punk winning.
The only other way is Cena.
But I
don't see any of the other guys winning it, to be honest with you. Okay. I know that there is. It's not. I don't think Priest is going to win it.
Yeah.
I don't think Logan Paul's going to win it. I don't think Damian Priest is going to win it.
Yeah.
There's 3 right there. So now.
Yep. Logan Paul, Damian Priest, and Reigns.
I don't think Roman's going to do it either because you can't. I don't want to see another one of those.
I see Roman getting fucked over in some way.
Yeah. So I think you're down to Punk and
Cena. Who's the 6th man again?
Roman, Punk, Cena,
Logan,
Priest, Logan, Drew McIntyre. Yeah.
I don't see Drew winning either, but it would be good.
No, I think that's where you're cutting it down, is right down to those 2.
It's Cena or Punk. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Women's, I think it's a little easier for me to think that it may be.
I can't even remember who's all in that.
It's Liv, Alexa Bliss. Oh man, yeah. Just look it up. I definitely feel like Liv could win it and get one more shot at Rhea. And that's where they would have Dom turn on her to go back to Rhea or some shit.
Maybe, yeah, because that hasn't entirely panned out.
Oh. So it's Liv, Alexa, right?
Bailey, yeah.
Bailey, Bianca, Naomi, and
wow, they're all in there?
Yeah, yep.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that's going to be an implosion of a team right there.
I'm surprised Alexa Bliss is in this already. You know, like she just came back.
And then Roxanne Perez is in it. That would be crazy. If Roxanne won it.
I think she's just in it for some exposure.
I'd love to see Alexa Bliss win it, but I just don't know if she will. I would love to see it, but I don't know if she will.
Yeah. Yeah, that's tough. This is a tough one.
That's a tough one.
You know, I guess Liv is probably the most logical.
The storyline baked into it makes it the most logical.
Yeah.
That Raquel is going to help her cheat to win or some shit. You know what I mean? It would be so cool to see Roxanne win. She's unbelievable. It would instantly make her as a main. I mean, this match alone, her being in it, already establishes her as one of the top women.
Yeah.
Same with Alexa Bliss.
I don't see Naomi or Bianca winning that, though.
I see this being a kink in their, or yeah, you know what I mean? Like a kink in their team. Right. I see this being a setup for their team kind of
for when Jade comes back.
And I wouldn't be surprised if Jade came back in this match and went after Bianca, and that's how she turned heel. It cost Bianca and Naomi the match. It was like, fuck both of you. Who knows? It'd be sick, though.
The problem with it, it's a chamber match. It's like, how do you even interfere?
How do you interfere? Yeah, I don't know.
Unless you're sticking shit through the cage.
No idea.
I don't think that's ever happened, has it? You can't have an interference.
Yeah, who's interfering? I don't know.
Well, you can do it with like cage matches sometimes.
Oh, for sure, cage matches and cells. I mean, duh. The first cell ever someone interfered, Kane did.
Yeah, cage matches is different because you just climb over it.
Yeah, that's people interfere all the time in that shit. Yeah. I was in person in the 90s in the cage match that was Bret Hart versus Psycho Sid, where Undertaker and Stone Cold ran in, and then there was fighting where they're just DQ the match, and there's guys sitting on top of the cage just punching each other.
Yeah, and then kicking down and shit.
So like that shit happened all the time, dude.
I don't know. If I had to pick, I would just go with Liv. It's the safest bet.
It's the safest bet. I agree with that. I think it's most likely going to be Liv. If it's not, who I would like to see it be,
would like to see
is Alexa Bliss or Roxanne, because it would be refreshing.
Mm-hmm.
Alexa especially, I would love to see that.
I don't think Bayley has the momentum right now for it.
I don't know, man. Bayley's doing good, but she was just world champ.
Yeah.
And she lost it to Nia.
That's what I mean. I don't think she's necessarily on the upswing.
I don't know that she needs it right now.
Right.
And I definitely don't see Naomi or Bianca, because they've got this other whole story going on that I think wouldn't make sense to mess with that by throwing that at a title match with Rhea.
I think Roxanne's in it just for her exposure.
Yep.
Mostly.
Mostly.
Alexa's in it because she's a giant star.
She's the other most compelling winner.
Yeah.
Her and Liv are the two most compelling possible winners for me.
Because there are a lot of ways you could go with Alexa versus Rhea.
Yes, you could. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I wonder, it's a lot of it is like timeline wise, like what happens with Wyatt 6?
I know.
When,
and Bo Dallas is injured as far as I know.
Yeah. So like, I don't know.
And you can tell that after they just fired the Authors of Pain, they released the Authors of Pain and that hard bald dude. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. What the fuck is his name?
I know. It bums me out that I can't remember his name, but he was before my time. He was the original manager of the Road Warriors. And it's Paul Ellering. Paul Ellering, yeah, yep. All we see him as now is this hard old dude wearing like full leather outfit with sunglasses. I love that. Yeah. I think that's hilarious. An old dude in fucking biker gear is the best thing in the world to me. I love it. And by all accounts, the dude's great and is a good manager and stuff. I definitely get them getting released because they just didn't have a lot of momentum and stuff. And I think you just gotta get Scarlett and Karrion Kross on a rocket ship to the main event, dude. They're so good. Mm-hmm. So good.
Yeah. And Scarlett should have more in-ring
action. Because she can wrestle.
Yeah.
She can actually wrestle.
Yeah.
So, and I think she will. I think they'll do more with her. Mm-hmm. Especially now that it's going to be just the two of them again. Good. And they've got
that whole
Karrion Kross is going after Sami.
Well, yeah, but that whole thing faded away because they brought the Miz into the storyline, and then
I think that when Bo got injured, it's all shot.
Yeah.
Yep, it's all shot in the foot.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen enough on his injury, or if it's just an absence, or what it is.
Yeah, I just heard he got injured. That's all, and that's what I thought was the deal. But who knows?
Yeah, so that's probably what I would say is Liv.
Yeah, yep. With Alexa being
that
the
one feels,
other one
that
like
one
to
feels,
see.
Yeah. Yep. That one feels more predictable than the other one. Holy fuck, the other one's just crazy.
It's good luck.
So yeah, it's Saturday.
Yep. I'm definitely watching this shit. Obviously,
I will be at work.
Quit.
I worked yesterday.
Probably don't.
I gotta work like another 6-day stretch. It's fucking getting ridiculous.
Yeah.
It sucks because I can't watch. Like, I have to watch all these like afterwards. I like to watch them live though.
I know, me too.
Because I like to get on.
What it is. I'm in the same boat. I can't always watch them live, and I have to watch them the day after or something. So
yeah, I guess it doesn't hurt it, but sometimes you get on Instagram or something, and the first thing that pops up is like, yeah. Here's the new champ or whatever, and you're like,
happens all the time.
God damn it!
The second the bell rings, they're like, post on social media now.
Yeah. Yep. And then they have huge text on their fucking videos.
Yep. New champ. And it's like, okay, I guess. All right. But, it is what it is.
I get it. That's the shit that, it grabs people's eyes.
And they know that there's a lot of people that they don't watch it and they only follow it on social media, which is very true.
Yes, I'm glad that they embraced that.
Me
But on
too.
the other hand, you're like,
But as someone who likes to watch some of this stuff live,
but that's
tough.
how I get NXT. Like I watch all the videos that they post of matches and highlights.
Yeah,
and not like the highlight video.
And that's by the only
segments.
way to get AEW for me for years.
Mm-hmm.
And I absolutely do follow AEW and
it's
get my
good.
info
Like,
on them from that.
AEW will post like full matches.
They will do,
or
for sure.
You know, promos or whatever. So
Yeah,
you can mostly keep up with it.
Yep. Yeah, I think AEW. One thing that I think they do right is they have a decent social media package. Yeah. TNA, I'd like to see do more. And maybe they are, and I just need to find the accounts and stuff. I follow them on YouTube and whatnot, and sometimes they post good stuff on there.
I've tried getting it into like my.
They definitely need to have it. Yeah, that's what it is. I think maybe it's just not showing up in my feed as much, but I'd like to see them get more in line with what WWE does.
They're a lot more conservative about it, and I wonder if that has to do with their TV deal, with their Access TV deal, or something.
I didn't think of that. Maybe. Yeah,
but I do know that it's definitely less content.
Yeah, that would help them a lot if they had more social media presence.
Because I've tried a bunch of times. Like sometimes I'll go through, like go over to TNA, like on their YouTube, and just like and watch a couple of videos.
Yeah,
like
trying to get
just try and
show
get
me
it
more,
into my
guys.
lexicon.
I want to see it. Yep.
It just doesn't seem to stay.
Yeah.
But that's it. Yeah, Elimination Chamber this weekend.
Yeah, it's gonna be good, and hell yeah.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Yeah, that's it.
Covered everything we wanted to talk about, and got to have some other just random conversation about video games and shit.
Yep,
I liked that.
It's an hour and a half. That was a long one. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Head over to w.gg, use our promo code, and get 10% off. You get your energy drinks.
Yeah,
and that helps us support the show. Also, just like and subscribe and do all that stuff, like the YouTube stuff.
Absolutely. Comment. Tell us we don't fuck clue.
Even if you're on like Spotify or whatever. Or anything. I don't even know if like Apple Podcasts or anything has comments or whatever. But we're on every platform.
We're on everything.
So just do that.
Follow us and like us on everything, man.
Yep. And we post like short videos and clips and all that stuff all the time. So
and tell us what you think and chime in.
Because that helps us. All right. That's it.
That's it.
We'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
Hell yeah.
Later.
Peace.